They did it to the mayor. History repeating itself. Why wouldn't they do it? Why wouldn't the FBI plant listening devices on Mayor Weaver? Isn't she threatening to sue Governor Snyder? Isn't she threatening to sue to get the money the state of Michigan owes Flint?
There's one thing about it. None of this happened until after she put that intent to sue. Then all these problems started coming up. So I don't believe in coincidence.
No coincidence.
No.
Former employee that working for the emergency manager filed a lawsuit. One of Snyder's people filed a lawsuit. Wow. The mayor hasn't filed her, but Snyder got his people to file a lawsuit. And her name Henderson, wasn't she working for Donnell early? She had a contract. And if that's the case, that's a Snyder person. Why wouldn't you get rid of the governor's appointees?
Why would you want them still sitting there?
Why would you want them there? That is the real question, isn't it? Why would you want Governor Snyder's appointees in your office listening to your conversation, hanging around the water fountain and the coffee machine? They're not doing any work, spying on you. You know, when Dennis Archer was mayor, when former Mayor Dennis Archer was there, General Motors put their person in there as deputy mayor, was a lady. I mean, everything think of that lady's name.
Work for
I
General
think it was a
Motors?
bird or somebody. Some kind of a songbird, singing bird. But anyway, one thing about it, she was a stool pigeon, wasn't she?
That's
She
for
was
sure.
there to watch Dennis Archer and report back to the folks at General Motors. Big as Uncle Tom, as some would call him. Dennis Archer was, I say was like that's past tense, huh? Well, we know from the past because he was there to say, I'm not here to make another black man rich.
Yeah, never forget that.
I was Dennis Archer, and they still had somebody watching him.
Yeah. There's somebody that's on their side and they're watching, still watching him.
Well, they know if you're not for your people, you can't be trusted anyway. They just got
That's
him in
true.
there to get rid of his folks, spy on him, tell him what to do. Caller, you on the air. Thanks for holding.
Mark,
Good morning.
I just wanted to say I know Mary Weaver. She's much smarter than that. You know, the feds they slick with planning those devices. I believe they did that too, but I think she's much smarter than that. They already put a report out. Somebody tried to taint her, said that she was mismanaging the funds. Um, but yeah, this is another one of their taxes. But I think she's much smarter than people. Not gonna fall for that.
Well, she's got to be aware, and the public has to be aware so they'll know what's going on. That's what I'm saying. That's what we bringing it to them so people can think about what actually happened with the break-in. You know, they didn't break in once; they broke in twice. So what were they taking out of there? You
But
know,
you notice that wasn't the media. They didn't really, talk about that as much.
well, that's what we're here for to talk about it, to get us to
Right.
think about it and analyze it. And we have history. We got history on our side. You know, think about it. They never one time indicted Coleman Young, charged Coleman Young when he was the mayor with anything. But they were always spying on the mayor Coleman Young. They had his house. If they they definitely had the townhouse bug. And we know that. That's public record. So why wouldn't they do the same thing for Mayor Weaver? And it's the same thing. They said somebody broke in the mayor's townhouse. It turns out it was the FBI. And it's the same thing with Mayor Weaver. Why wouldn't it be? What's the logical reason for anybody to go and to break into poor, destitute Flint? What are they looking for in Flint City Hall? Everybody know they don't have anything. So what are they looking for? Now they want to plant some listening devices. They want to catch them saying something or They want to engage you in a conversation.
I think they looking for a right, man. Let's be honest.
Well, we'll
That's the
see.
only thing. That's the only piece missing in the puzzle. Civil disobedience. That's what you want to call it.
Well, civil disobedience, there's no riots in
No,
civil
it's a
disobedience.
difference. Big
Civil,
difference.
civil disobedience is a protest. But I appreciate your comments, brother. Thanks for
All right,
calling.
have a good day.
All right, you too. Carl, you on there?
Hi, good morning, Carl and Hassan.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Okay, I just wanted to thank you for some information you gave me several months ago about the Land Bank Authority, and it did save property that I had that they were trying to take. However, I work with seniors, and I have one now who has been delinquent with taxes for about 4 years, and we just discovered it. She's 87 years old, and she thought one of the relatives were paying the taxes, and they weren't. Now we find it's in the Land Bank Authority. What's the recourse? Does she have to buy her house back, or can we assist in some kind of way of going down there and getting them to pay those back taxes? Do you have any idea about that?
Wow. See, well, you
Yeah.
know, you can always go and see what they can do. Maybe they'll give them back. You know, they greedy, man. You'd have to pay for the taxes. The other thing is, what is that? The homestead credit they probably didn't give her credit for. Uh, some homestead credit they didn't give her credit for. I would also argue the point, get one of those lawyers down in legal aid if they want to do something useful, or the ACLU. Argue the point of it's a fact, a point of a law that that property, the garbage fee is not a tax and should not be on the tax rolls.
That's right, because they should have voted for it.
We didn't vote for that. We didn't vote for that, but it's not a tax. Didn't you just have something on that?
Yeah, I had a case where it was talking about storm
Yeah.
drains, which is the same thing, and it went to the Michigan State Supreme Court, and that's what they said, that it would be a tax, not a fee, and that we would have to vote on it.
You have to vote on those taxes, and it's not a tax. We didn't vote on that.
So you're
garbage
saying
fee.
that
Some of those taxes that they put on are illegal and shouldn't have been on. Therefore, they shouldn't have taken her property. In other words, for that amount of money, it should have been less.
Well, it was illegal the way they did it.
the relative just wasn't paying it. Okay, she
I
wasn't aware of
understand
it.
that.
You know
I
what I'm saying?
understand that. But if you try to get your property back, you have to cite some reason other than what your relative didn't do.
You had to cite some law.
The law.
Something.
I see.
Yeah, you have to cite the law and the
Oh,
fact.
okay,
is-
I got you. Now, and one more thing. Are you aware of this thing of an extra $100 a year we have to pay on the water bill to cover everybody else's water bill who can't pay it? Are you aware of that, or did I hear something wrong?
I heard something about that, but we can look. See that's what they're doing is crazy. Did nobody ask me that I want to donate $100?
That's what I'm talking about. That's
No,
taxation
they
without
just gonna-
representation or whatever. I mean, why am I paying an extra
Why are
$100
they
that I
ch-
didn't? You know,
And
they
then
always
they-
had the Hink Bank and the Thaw and all that where you could volunteer and do it.
But see, what people are misunderstanding, and I brought this up once before, and I guess I'm going to say it a little more. When you look at your water bill, you got two separate items on there. One is the water bill, one is your sewage. They really are shutting your water off because of your sewage, because your water is about a third of what your sewage is. Most of the people can pay the water. The water may be about $40, and your sewage may be $120. So, but when they send you a bill, they don't say sewage. They say water. So actually, looking at it, it's fraud. But it's up to the people to distinguish that they have paid the water bill and that this bill that they're giving them is not because of the water delinquent, it's because of the sewage.
But
They,
now
what is
all
they
of
gonna
us-
do if your sewage if you owe a bill on your sewage?
But now
can't
all
cut
of
your
us
water
have an
off
extra
for it.
$100 tacked on our bill a year, and most of us don't know anything about it. And that's why I said something about it, because I'm sure most people do not realize it, and it just came out of the blue. Now, what if I don't want to help somebody with their water bill? It's a public service announcement out there, and I heard it. It said, don't worry about your water bill. Your neighbors are going to help you. I think you all have heard it. Don't worry about it. Your neighbors are going to help you.
I've heard it, but there's look, our neighbors. What neighbors? They're not taking anything off of Dearborn. They're not charging Dearborn any extra money. They're not charging Hamtramck or Highland Park
Nope.
any extra money, or Grosse Point. They ought to be
Nope.
able to pay. They're not. So why should we pay? It's voluntary if that's what you want to do.
That's
but
right.
but here's the part that's very deceiving. Is the fact that they're not giving them no money. They're cutting They're cutting their water off all the time. So how they gonna say
And charging
they gonna
us
jack
more.
my bill up extra whatever
Right.
they doing $1, $10? How much did you say it is? $100 a year?
It's $100 a year. Mike Duggan is behind it. On there, it's a public service announcement that says, please don't worry about getting your water shut off now. Go down and make a arrangement or whatever, and your neighbors are going to help you. Now, and they've put down $100 more a year for all of us, which breaks down to whatever it is per month. I don't know.
They're gonna cut your water off. They'll come along and cut your and my water off. Carl's
trying to help
water
somebody
off.
else.
Because you gave them $100, they gotta be crazy. They gotta be crazy.
See, it's another thing that your director, Gary Brown,
Yes.
the man admitted that they are only collecting fees from the resident. Those commercial accounts, they don't get no threat, they don't get no letters, they don't get no shut off, they don't get none of that. So what the people need to be hollering is discrimination.
You know, Dan Gilbert has property, and you know he owes millions of dollars in water bill. The property owes the money. So how did they get around that? How did it get around?
That's why I'm so glad you guys are on the station, because so many people don't know what's going on. You can lose your property over nothing now. And that's what I'm saying. I work with seniors. These people worked hard all these years, and they wait till they get up in their 60s, their 70s, and their 80s, and boom, your property's gone, and you don't even know why. It could be this water bill thing. They'll take your property over the water, too, okay? And then this land bank authority. I mean, it's just more things coming to get people out of their houses. They want this city back, and they're just taking any kind of way to get it. It's horrible.
You're right.
I can't disagree with
So
you
I'm
there.
glad you guys are keeping people informed, and thank you. You really helped me with my situation with my grandmother's property, and everything is rolling real good. Now, just because of what you told me to put a for sale sign. I think you remember me calling you.
Yeah.
Right.
You told me
sure
to put
do.
that for sale sign out there, and they got off my back, okay?
That's the law. For sale.
And you know it.
And when you ride around the city, ladies and gentlemen, you will see for sale signs on vacant buildings. And what the caller is talking about, if you have some property that's vacant, put a for sale sign in the yard. For sale by owner. That's legal. You don't have to go get a real estate person. And that'll save your property. Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you again. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Sunshine and Martha. You talking about Marsha Brooms that worked for the General Motors?
Okay.
That's who worked with him. It was Marsha Brooms. She worked with Dennis Archer down at the city council, but she also worked for General Motors.
Well, I'm talking about the one that was the deputy mayor. She was appointed deputy mayor.
The deputy mayor in the city of Detroit?
Right. There was a lady, deputy mayor.
Well, I know Marsha Brooms was one of the ones that worked for General Motors, too.
Okay.
And she worked down there with him. So I don't know about a deputy mayor that worked for, but I know she worked in his office.
Oh, okay. Well, he had a whole lot of General Motors people down there.
Yeah,
didn't he?
she worked for General Motors, because I worked for General Motors, and I know she worked there.
Okay.
But what I want to know is, why is it that, we got a good school board, a new school board, and these young people, these people that's on that school board are very hard workers, and we don't need anybody that was on the old school board to come in there and tell them how to run things and tell them what to do. Then they tell us we can't come to some of the meetings, but some of the meetings that they have, people come there and they try to run their own the school board's meetings, and I want to know why that's going on. And these young women that's on that school board are very intelligent. They fight for the children like Marie Thornton did, but they don't want to listen to them. That's why we don't have nothing going on. The people that's doing this work for Duggan downtown. And see, that's got to stop. People got to stand up and tell the truth and tell people what's going on at that school board because nobody's helping them. And the people that help them, they don't want them in there. They want them same old people that sold us out so they could get a little money in their pockets. So people wake up. Do like Marie Thornton did and fight for the children and the people that's on that school board because they're the ones that's fighting for the children in the city of Detroit. And thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for making it here. You know, she brought up an interesting subject about their school board. Ladies and gentlemen, it's supposed to be a lawsuit filed against, federal lawsuit supposed to be filed against the emergency manager in the state of Michigan so that Detroit could be in control of the district. And what's his name? Blakely? Blakely. I think it's Attorney Blakely. I think that's his name. Somehow, the school board, not the school board, Herman Davis, president of the school board, refuses to sign the contract. That was the latest thing that I read about it. Herman Davis wants change it's thing where he says, wait a minute, the attorney says, look, I'm doing this pro bono. You want me to change the word pro bono in this contract that I've sent to you. Now the man, the attorney is offering to do it pro bono. I know when I talk to members of the school board, one in particular, Lamar Lemons, and he said, well, you know, we're trying to get a lawyer. It costs money to file a lawsuit, and I don't have it, and most of us don't have the money to file a lawsuit. So they found this attorney Blakely, and he said in the email that he's only received 2 donations, a $20 donation and a $5,000 donation, and that was from the superintendent. The superintendent was working for $1 or for free. I'm trying to think of his name. He has a show. But anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. It'll come to me and somebody call and tell us who it is. And he gave him $5,000. So I'm looking at this and saying, wow, well, where are all those other donations going? I guess it hasn't made it to him yet. And he's down in Florida, and he's got an office somewhere in St. Clair Shores. But the whole thing is, why are they having this so-called, I call it confrontation or a fight between the attorney that's going to file the lawsuit pro bono and Herman Davis, the school board president that never shows up at the meetings half of the time? What is the problem? See, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens to us. They filed an attorney that says, well, I don't have anything to lose. He's in his 70s. He came out of retirement. They filed a lawsuit pro bono, meaning the school district even giving him a dime. He applied for a grant. This attorney applied for a grant with the Michigan State School Boards. I never heard of them, but it's an organization of school boards throughout the state of Michigan. And they have this money for the grant to file, to get an attorney, because they know most people on the school boards don't have any money and they're not getting paid to be on the school boards. So now that raises a serious question. That's a serious issue that we need to analyze and find out about from these board members. How is one person holding up the contract or the lawyer to go forward, and the lawyer said that he was quitting if the contract wasn't signed by Friday the 13th. Friday just happened to be the 13th.
Yeah.
Now, this is all over the internet. I read it on the email. It's all over the internet. You could go to Hood Research. Go to Hood Research Facebook page, and you'll see it. Now, the other thing is, which we didn't know, they had a school board association Michigan State School Board, MSSB. You can Google that. And that's one of the things they do. Now, the man has to have a contract. How can you represent a school board or a school district without a contract? Come on, it's the real world. How is it that a lawyer is going to represent the school district and they don't have a contract? If you're working for free, it's going to say pro bono. I'm working for free. They call it pro bono. Part of the rules of being an attorney is to do so many hours of pro bono work. Those are the attorney, what's that, rules of ethics, isn't it?
Ethics, yeah.
Yeah, attorneys by their own rules have to do something pro bono. Help somebody free. I know you never got a break, and I haven't got one either. So we didn't even know they were required to do pro bono work as part of being an attorney in their profession. So he's going to do this free, and Herman Davis is going the other way. Now, here's the other thing. It only takes a majority for a quorum. And a quorum, you need a quorum, what they call a quorum, to have a meeting, a regular authorized meeting. Robert Rules of Order says they all they need is a quorum. So that's a majority. So they only need 6 out of the 11 school board members to have a quorum and sign the contract. So all it is hooping and hollering about how smart they are, the lady just said, and what's going on in the school board. We're being tricked and bamboozled
Again.
every time. Is it again?
Again,
One
yeah.
more time. One more time. So the new people on the board need to come up to speed if they're going to do anything on our behalf, on behalf of the children, as they always claim. They tell that lie all the time. Oh, it's for the children, and the children get swept to the side. Now, they're arguing and fighting over contract that they won't get. They don't get the charter schools, do they? They don't get the charter schools, so you know they're not going to get the contracts. Let's take a call. Caller, you on the line? Hello, caller. Well, they dropped off. Let's get another call. Caller, you on the air?
Good morning, Carl. Good morning, Hassan. How are you this
Oh,
morning?
we're all right.
That's good, yes. This is for the caller before the last caller who was talking about the lady who relative did not pay for taxes.
Right.
Have her to call down to, well, ma'am, if you're listening, call down to Wayne County. That's who you need to contact, Wayne County. And they ask for
That's the Wayne County Treasurer's Office.
right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, Wayne County Treasurer on 400 Monroe. Ask for Mr. Eric Sabri, and I guarantee you, if her was not paying those taxes, he will work diligently with that lady to get her property back. And they're to get the number from Wayne County because I don't have that number right now.
Well, he's the new treasurer, so
Right.
he probably will help do something. He's been down there 5 or 10 years. He knows his way around the treasurer's office.
And you remember because he just helped a couple and Taylor. Remember they was about to lose their property, and he came on the news. He was on the news, and he helped them get their property back because somebody they had sold their property to an investor, and then he worked with them, and the investor gave them their property back. So he would work diligently with that lady's friend to help her get her property back. So just call downtown. I know the number is 224-5990, but ask for Mr. Eric Sabri and get him, and he'll work diligently with her. And I just want to just say that. And thank you all for taking my call, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Hello, caller. You on the air?
Hey, how you gentlemen doing?
Okay. What's going on?
Good, good. Thank you for all you do and all that you share and allow us to share. I think they said there's a meeting with the Kingpin Road, the school board supposed to have a meeting Wednesday at I think it's Frederick Douglass.
Frederick
Tomorrow.
Douglass. Okay, now what were you saying about the meeting in Frederick Douglass, the school
The
board?
Kingpin Road's supposed to meet with the school board tomorrow at I believe it's at the Douglas School. But I call you and confirm that with you, or you can talk to one of the school board members, Helena Harada, because she put it on Facebook as well. And the continuation of the colonized, demonized, criminalized, ostracized, and gentrified continues today. So people just need to wake up, learn the laws. Also, the people that's having problems with their house being turned over to the land banks, they need to look up the RICO busters because they're the ones that are court watchers and they're catching them in so much fraud that's going on in the way that they're stealing these people's property through so-called foreclosures.
Right.
So that's another resource for any listeners, RICObusters.com, and they are definitely in them courts watching the fraud that's going on and catching these people in lies, and they'll help you if you have a problem not knowing what to do and how to fight these courts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for taking my call. I can't hear a word y'all saying, but
Okay.
stay blessed, and I see you when I see you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, I hope the viewers out there can hear us.
Well, we've been talking to him back and forth. You know, the other thing, on that school board meeting, that Judge Rose, he think he's still a judge. The man's not a judge, but he's acting tyrannical, dictatorial, like the other emergency managers. He has a contract with Governor Snyder. So Governor Snyder is running these boards and through his henchmen. Those contracts are with Governor Snyder. Now, the other thing is on the money that you don't hear him talk about. How is it that they want us to pay? They say they're starting up a school board and they're going to give, that's the magic word, that's a lie, $700 million. But they want us to pay interest on the $700 million. How much is that going to be?
We shouldn't have to pay nothing. They owe us. We don't owe them.
It's in the bill. You know, these people go to their school board members and won't read the bill. It's in the law, 710, 711, Senate bill.
Yeah, maybe next week when we have more time, we'll bring both. I got the 710, and we'll bring both of them, and we'll discuss it so they'll know what's actually in it.
Right. Well, that's one thing that's in it. They want us to pay the interest on $700 million. And people know that when you buy your home, this is supposed to be a 10. See, look at how they doing it. We don't know how long the loan is for. They'll say 10 years now, but the loan is say 20 or 30 years. And if you got to pay off something in 30 years and you paying the interest, you paid 3 times what your house was worth.
Yeah.
We know that on a house, so that's going to apply to the bond. Wow. So why don't we pay off the $700 million and let the state pay the interest?
That's right.
Since they want to charge us 3 times the amount of money, and then they sit up there and say, well, we giving you something. Yeah, what are you giving us, a hole in the head? Another hole, huh?
That's about it.
They're liars and they're crazy, and this man comes to you as a former judge. So you know what we went through in the bankruptcy. The man lied straight all the way. He don't have to crack a smile. He good at it.
Oh, yeah, he's good at
He
it.
just sits up there and say, oh, I want to hear what you have to say. And he's lying. Well, they tell the teachers, oh, go back to work. We'll take care of that. They were lying. We're going to pay you some money. How do they run out of money when they start collecting the taxes? The treasurer, we said it last week, we're going to continue to say it. There's a new treasurer, Eric Sabree, in town. And he wants to run for treasurer. He's going to run for treasurer. And he would like to be the new treasurer. And guess what? He wants to be the treasurer for a full 4-year term. So guess what? He's going to do the right thing if you ask him, if you demand that he gives you your money in advance.
And
That he,
another thing about this Judge Rose, let me say it before I forget, I didn't mean to cut you off, is remember this is the same judge that tried to stop me from submitting objections during the bankruptcy.
in other words, he didn't want Carl to come in and take the papers we filed up to the clerk's office. You know, Carl was the only one, I believe. Weren't you the only one that had I call it a police escort,
Oh
security
yeah,
guards?
I couldn't go upstairs until somebody come and escort me up there. There was nothing but a harassment tactic to make me stop filing them objections.
Well, weren't you searched?
Oh yeah, searched. I mean, pat down. They treat me like I was a common criminal, and I'm just going in there to file those objections.
Well, you were black while filing
Oh yeah,
objections.
and I was told, at least I asked them, and they said those was order from Judge Rose. Now Judge Rose supposed to be an impartial party. He's sitting in judgment over the bankruptcy, and he's making it difficult for anybody who object to the bankruptcy to file, which
Well,
I'm exercising my constitutional right, and he interfering with that.
well, he probably got mad at you because you told him he wasn't a real judge. Didn't you ask him was he a real judge?
Yeah, I asked him, then I told him that he wasn't because he was a magistrate. They didn't start calling a magistrate a judge until after 1990. Before then, they just called them magistrate. They didn't even consider them as being judges.
Well, they're not by the Supreme Court. They definitely can't hear any constitutional questions, whether or not Article
Article 3 judge.
Article 4, Section 29 under the Michigan Constitution. See, those questions could be taken away from the pension. Those questions the man couldn't decide. So he decided all those illegally, but none of the lawyers, the union lawyers, none of them raised that issue.
That's right. They just wouldn't read because actually under the Magistrate Act that would govern all magistrate, the only thing that he could do is make a report and a recommendation to a district court judge or Article 3 judge. That's the only thing he's supposed to do. But he made the decision. He didn't submit a recommendation. So that's a violation of the Magistrate Act.
And not only that, like you said, ladies and gentlemen, that's the law, the Magistrate Act that ties his hand, that says what he can do and cannot do. Let's take another call. Caller, you on air.
Good morning, my wise and progressive friends.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Sam.
Sam.
Listen, in the Michigan Chronicle, the March 16th through the 22nd edition, there is an article by Dr. John Talford on the lawsuit. Get that copy. The Michigan Chronicle, March 16th through the 22nd edition of the Michigan Chronicle.
What?
The lawyer's name is attorney Tom Bleaky, Bleakley. Tom Bleaky is the lawyer
How do you
that
pronounce
Dr.
that?
Talbot has gotten. And in the article, they say they need 625. No, he needs to spend 25,000 to get started, the seed money to get started. So, but they don't list in this article, which is strange, any place to send the money. So I guess you would have to either check with Attorney Bleaky or Dr. John Telford, who was, the superintendent that was fired.
Right.
And one other thing before you go off, last Tuesday I tried to get in because you were asking about state school board members. And there's a Kathleen N. Strauss. That's who you were talking about.
From
out
Grosse
of
Pointe.
Grosse Pointe.
Right.
Who's been on the school board for over 20 years and has done very little to protect public education in Detroit. You gentlemen have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Kathleen Strauss.
Yeah. Caller, you on the air.
Wow. Following my wise and progressive friend. That's an honor. That's an honor. Great show, gentlemen. Great show.
Thank you, DD.
Thank you.
You know what? They're going to go down before Judge Rhodes tomorrow the same way the retirees went down there. There's going to be no record. Okay? Is there a record of what we said before Judge Rhodes when we went down there?
It's
Did
supposed
you
to
have
be.
any court reporter or anybody taking down the information that the retirees were saying?
Well, that was really not a hearing. So it
Okay.
probably won't be no record because, I got him to say it on record that it was a presentation. Well, testimony had to be recorded, but a presentation, it's not legally binding, and that's why I kept asking, was it legally binding?
Well, the Rose, Stephen Rose is just in a school board setting. He's an illegal emergency manager. And so what does he care? He's getting paid. He's part of the game. How do you take a person that was in a bankruptcy illegally? He was past the age, 70 years old. The man shouldn't have been there. He was 73 when it was over. So he was, 72 when he took over the bankruptcy. And so he was part of their plan to just take the people's money. It's the same way now. They're bringing him in, and he's supposed to be here and in Puerto Rico at the same time. How does he do that? How does he fly back and forth to Puerto Rico and the job here is emergency manager? They're making money.
He said something in the paper about the DPS was not ripe for bankruptcy because they did not have enough. Do you remember that article?
Oh, I heard something about it, and I was kind of shocked to hear that come from him.
Yes.
Well, they don't have any buildings anymore, so what are you going to take? What are you going to take from DPS? And here's the whole thing. Bankruptcy means property owners don't have to pay for bonds. The bonds will be wiped out, and we won't have those horrendous property taxes. No, he's not for bankruptcy.
And the state will be on the hook for the debt.
And they have to pay.
Couldn't file?
Say that again?
Could the school board file?
Yeah, they can file if they got enough heart.
What you mean heart? They don't have any heart.
That's what I'm talking about.
They have a man right now that said he sent the contract in. If the man didn't sign the contract, see, the listeners don't even know about it. The listeners have never even heard about the Michigan State School Board. They got an association of all the school boards across the state of Michigan. So that's over
they would pay that $25,000 that Sam Black was just talking about, that Dr. Talbert was requesting.
Well, that's all he said he got with the $5,000 or whatever.
Dr. Talbert.
From Talbert.
But, Mr. Black said that they need about $25,000 to get started. So you're saying that state school board is a great possibility that they would give that money to get that case started.
They have a grant. That the president of the school board won't sign the contract.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Caller, you're the last call. Go right ahead.
Hi, I just want to tell you, they should start a contract about the people that's 75 and older. They shouldn't be paying homeowners taxes or anything. So downtown, somebody should put in for one of them and let them put that on the ballot, that when you get a certain age, your taxes is none and void. You don't have to pay any more taxes for the because you have paid all your life anyway. And about the school board, if you don't get rid of some of those people that think they're supposed to be running that school board for Duggan downtown, those school people that's running that board now are not going to have anything passed as long as they don't get rid of the rest of those people that's working for Duggan and come to those meetings every week to preach hell for Duggan in the city of Detroit.
You're right.
Those young ladies on that board,
thank you.
They're very good. They want to do the right thing for our children in the city of Detroit. But as long as they have a few on there that's not for the city of Detroit and work for Duggan,
thank you. We're out of time. We're out of time. We thank you for that. We're down on time. We don't want to go, but we got to go. The fastest show in television anywhere. I'm your host, Hassan Ali.
Co-host Kyle Williams.
And we're signing off the next week.
See you
Peace.
next week. Peace.
Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of W33BY, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Hello, I'm your host, Hassan Ali.
Co-host Kyle Williams. Tune in from 9 to 10 on Tuesdays.
TV 33, Comcast Cable.